Our speaker today is Miss Edith. I'm an addict. Name's Edith. Oh shit. So it's really, I'm just gonna let it happen. Whenever I share, I get engulfed with emotion. My heart gets so full it comes out of my eyes. So just bear with me. It is an honor to represent being a woman in this fellowship. And I can remember coming to my first convention, and it was this one. And my date is tomorrow. This is my clean date. But the thing is that when I first came here, it's always the weekend of Thanksgiving. And I'd never been to a big convention. So at the Clean Time Countdown, I so wanted to stand up at a year. But nope, no front and clean time here. So I had to not stand up at a year. So my clean date is December 1st, 2002. And I will be 22 once I go to bed and wake up. So I always thought when I go to women's wraps, and I always think, golly, sharing is not my niche and service. And so I always thought, ooh, that'd be really tough. Because as women, we're so judgmental. Especially I am to myself. And so this is where the activist part of me comes out, because the culture and who we are as women, we're held to a different standard. Pisses me off. But the thing is, I always hold myself to a different standard than I hold you. So I got asked to do this. Oh, it's okay. We just let it go, sister. We let it go. It's part of showing that it's okay. And I've been doing this for a long time, crying when I share. It's just how it is. And so the thing is that now I lost my thought. It's okay. I didn't. We hold ourselves to a different standard. Thanks, Charity. And so the thing I have to remember is that I have to be who I am. I've worked really hard to be who I am, where I am. And so I will have to be honest. And because that was a principle that I was given this year, was honesty, because we have a women's retreat and I drew that rock. So honestly, I have to tell you that I laid out probably several clothes before I got dressed this morning. And then I realized this just picks something that you want to be comfortable in, because that's really what matters. So that's what I did. I have flowers on my feet, so all is well. I always like to come from the literature, because the literature is important. That's what taught me a new way to live. So this IP right here is, self-acceptance really is so important, because it's important when there's an IP on it. So accepting ourselves as we are resolves the problem of expecting human perfection. When we accept ourselves, we can accept others into our lives unconditionally, probably for the first time. Our friendships become deep. We experience the warmth and caring which results from addict sharing recovery of a new life. And it's okay when it comes out my eyes, but when it comes out my nose. Anyway, so the thing is that I didn't really, there is no topic, right? So I texted a sponsee and I said, if you're going to a women's rep, what do you want to hear about? So she told me. And then I have a positive self-affirmation group I'm in, because yes, I too need to participate in positive self-affirmations. Is that, I got asked to share in a women's rap because somebody that's real important to me. I won't say who, but asked me to do this because she couldn't make it. So they shared some things. So I'm going with learning to love ourselves. So one of the women that I sponsor said she wanted to know about self-acceptance and when it happens. Well, as you can see, I'm still having a hard time with it. Today I can accept myself for who I am. Do I like it? Some days not. So the thing is that what happens when I don't like it, right? Is that how can I move from here to here? And it is about spiritual principles. And it is about practicing. It's a spiritual application of that principle. Because it is only through understanding and application that this works. That's what I've learned. So as working my steps, I have come to understand a lot about who I am. At the very first round of steps, I didn't really like learning who I am. But there is assets that I have, and but me, I always focus on the defects, not the assets. So I've been taught that with humility is that it's the whole picture. And so, working my steps, I get to understand who I am, who I want to be, and where I'm going, right? And so it's the walk that matters. It's the step work that matters. Not using just for today is what matters. And so today, it's not so much about using dope. It's not using people. It's not using food. It's not using anger. It's not using, retail therapy. I'm a kayaker. I had 7 kayaks at one time. I'm a single woman, and they're all different, I can justify and rationalize in lots of different ways. But the thing is that I know who to call that won't co-sign my shit. And that's what's important also, because, I had somebody that's not in the program I called when I had 6 kayaks, and I really wanted this kayak because of this, and this. And she told me, well, there was a couple of them, different places. And she said, I'd go get this one because there's more stuff that comes with it, same price. I said, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So then I call Leah. I'm going to call you out. Leah knows me. Leah's a kayaking buddy. She, an adventure person with me. And she said, Edith, if you buy that kayak, you have to sell 2. So I sold 3. I said, sure, I'll do that. So, I have 3 now. One's at my sister's in case I go to her place. She lives on a lake. And I don't. And so anyway, retail therapy. Okay. I had this idea about what I was going to do. And kind of got busted when I talked to my sponsor. And so the thing is that I'm going to share about what it's like when I don't practice self-acceptance or loving myself. So what it's about when I bring home some sugary treats, right, cookies, and I'm just going to eat 1 or 2, and I eat all of them. And so what happens? It starts. So that's when I have to surrender it. I talk about it with somebody, and I understand that today I did that, but tomorrow I don't have to. So what happens when your child won't have anything to do with you, and her father says she's better off in foster care than with me? Now, these are all things that have happened clean. And so what did I do then? Well, shit, started again. All the bad, negative stuff started playing in my head, and then I had to realize, that's not who I am today. And I do not need to take personal what somebody says about me, because that's more about them than it is me. So that took a lot of step work, didn't it, Melanie? To work through that, and it's about a living amends. And I do have a relationship with both my daughters today, but the youngest one was the hardest one. That she was mad, and she was mad because I divorced her dad, and her dad was mad because I stopped the sugar mom syndrome. That I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm not going to be treated like that anymore. And so, setting boundaries in place is a way to love myself. Now, when I first started it, oh, it's so uncomfortable because I'm not used to doing it, and it feels so yucky. But the more I practice it, just like practicing anything, I get better at it. And I sometimes am so good at it that people think that I don't, that I'm kind of, I don't know what they think, really. I have to remind myself of that. I don't know what they're thinking. But their face, the way they're looking at me, I start, they're thinking this and they're thinking that, but I don't know what they're thinking. And so the reality is that I put my boundaries in place to protect me and take care of me, and they're for me, not for you. And but when I do it, it establishes a line of where I'm not going to allow you to cross, because I used to, and I still do pretty much, is that I will not set the line any worse than I treat myself. And the reality is I didn't treat myself very well. And the longer I stay clean, the more I treat myself better, so the boundary gets set a little closer. And but by setting the boundary a little closer, I can expand my circle outward because I'm safe, right? So the step work that I did helped me develop a relationship with the God of my understanding. Now, my God is a little different than traditionally a lot of others, but I have a relationship today because that's what Narcotics Anonymous has taught me. And I can hear the word God today, and I don't get, ooh, because I did when I first heard that when I got here. Ooh, so I thought, ooh, this is not going to work for me. Then somebody shared with me that it's the God of my understanding, not yours. Oh, well, like that. So that's what I took and ran with. So it's through doing my step work and sharing honestly, even though I don't want to, because it's important for the healing part of the process, is that I developed a relationship where I know I'm safe and cared and loved for. And I'm told that tremendously in this room with you people. I don't always believe it, but I'm told it. And the more I'm told it, the more that I can believe it. And so what do I do when I move and I'm disconnected from my peeps? And I have to find a new home, Brew. A new house. I started a new job. But I had a purpose for doing it because I wanted to be with my grandchildren, have a relationship with my grandchildren. So I stepped out of my comfort zone and I learned something about myself, that it's hard. And so I so missed them. But I gained a whole new group of women that are amazing where I moved to. And I wouldn't have gotten that if I didn't move. I did what I was taught, and that's to connect, because it's through connection and through vulnerability that connection happens. For me, there's no other way around it. I can't surfacely dance around connection. I've tried it. I wanted to do it, but it doesn't happen. So I got there and I talked to a woman that is very grounded in the area that I moved to. And so I said, let's do a women's retreat. And through that process, I got to ground myself with women there. And that's what catapulted me into being okay most of the days when I didn't want to be there. Because it's, you know, I will say, how do I love myself when I don't really want to be a mom? Because, I fought to have custody of my children, but in the midst of the responsibility and everything that came with that, I really didn't want that, right? It was overwhelming. It was, I just didn't want it, but I had to be honest with myself that some days it's hard, and I don't want to do that. But it's part of participating and continuing to do things I don't want to do, just like my recovery. Like, I really didn't want to come and share, but I did because I was asked, and I never tell an A no. So, the thing is that when does it happen? It happens when I'm grounded, right? If I am spiritually grounded, I can love myself and allow you to think, do, or say whatever, and it doesn't bother me. Does that, am I grounded all the time? No. But I will say that the practice of prayer and meditation is one thing that grounds me and helps me to move through allowing people to be where they are, and myself. It's so important. There's a step on it. So, that will allow me to just be. And at the very beginning of my recovery, I was busy doing this, busy doing that, service here, service there, and then I just needed to just be. And so slowing down and allowing me to sit with myself and hear really what's going on in here when I'm by myself. And that is, wow. When that happens, that really seems, when I come to an understanding about myself that I didn't really know, even through doing some rounds of step work, and then like COVID, I work from home, I'm a single woman, I live alone, and can't even go out, right? I mean, I could, but I chose not to. And so that was an endeavor that taught me a lot about myself, and I was grateful because there was a group of us that had a Living Clean book study on Zoom, and there were women in that group that had a little bit less time than me, same time as me, and more time as me, and that was a gift because hearing those women with more time than me, and they shared honestly that that's how they felt. It's like, shoo, I'm not so effed up. Yeah, they too feel that way. So, the journey and where we are. I mean, I'm a whole lot different than I used to be. I mean, I think differently than I used to think. I feel differently than I used to feel. Did I really understand I was an addict when I got here? No. I just wanted somebody to give me some relief from me. And when you're sick of yourself, that's a hell of a place to be. So, I was funny. I got here and I remember telling Ann, I just want to do a 4-step, find out why I used. And she said, Edith, don't worry about why. Just worry about how. It's about honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Just go with the first step, but find your sponsor first. And so, the suggestions that I've done that continue to keep me grounded in this program, in this fellowship, is number one, don't use, right? Now, I will say that using people, how do I love myself when I choose somebody that's a newcomer, but in my head, they weren't a newcomer because they'd come back. They had many years before that, right? They were here, and they were just what I thought was a good idea. Even though my sponsor was saying, no, that's not a good idea, Edith. Remember when. And remember this about your pattern. Remember, and it's about finding a man that I don't have to fix. It's about finding a man that I'm okay with just the way they are. So, I did that. I can remember Leah, once again, she's good about calling me out. Have you called Melanie? It's like, no. Why would I do that? I know what she's going to say, but I did call her, and she did say it. And so, the thing is that suggestions were given to me for a reason, and I have to understand that is that I'm eligible too. Yes, you're eligible too. And I didn't really understand it, but now I understand why suggestions are given to us, and they are applicable to me. And so. The thing that's important for me to keep loving myself is to keep coming back. Because, when I moved, it would have been so easy to drift on out. And I'm grateful for the women I sponsor because they kept calling, they'd call me and my sponsor tell me go to meetings. If you can't go to meetings, Zoom a meeting. That's when I started Zooming that meeting because I was told to. And, it is a process. It's a journey. When does it happen? Most generally, it happens with me every day. There are times when it's tough, when work, when I don't, I hate sucking at something new, just saying. And whenever we step out of our comfort zone and do stuff, I suck at it. And I like to know what's going on. I like to know how to do it. I like to be perfect what it is. But I will say that in the path that I follow, there are some craft people that are beaders. And they bead beautiful work. And in their bead work, they put a spirit bead. Because that's the thing is that as human beings, we are not perfect, and that honors the imperfection of the human condition. And so spirit is the only thing that's perfect. So I like to be perfect, y'all, but I'm not. And I'm okay with that most days. But some days it's hard to not be perfect. And but that's just up here. So the thought process is, how do I change my thought process? Continue to stay in your own recovery process is how the thought process changes. And that's how I do it. And I'm pretty sure it's got to be time, isn't it? It is, because I'm finished. I appreciate it. I mean, I could keep going with some stories, but, the reality is that it does happen. Self-acceptance happens. I did want to wear it like this, but it's an elusive thing, just like balance. But I'm grateful that I am more balanced today than I used to be, and more self-acceptance today than I used to be. I'm loved, I'm blessed, and I'm worthy, just like each and every one of you are. And if you hear anything, hear that in your head when you start with the negative mantra, because that's not true. Love you.
The next speaker is going to be Miss Chris.
My name is Chris. Hey, Chris. Thanks so much for sharing, Edith, and for sharing first and making my spirit so much more calmer. I super appreciate it, and I heard a lot of what you said, and I really appreciate it. When I was asked to speak, I don't know if I made this whole thing up, but I think it happened. I think that they asked me to share on the topic of grief, right? My good friend is speaking tonight, and so they knew I was tagging. I just got a little tag-along invitation, and I was like, grief, like, oh my God, it's the worst year of my life, like, please. And I got here and it wasn't on the schedule, and I was like, yay, like, no, this is good, thank God. And then he was like, I never told you you were speaking on grief. And I was like, what? And he was like, I told you you were speaking at the women's rap. I was like, I never heard that, but okay. I know nothing about perfection. And it's never been a goal. I just really just want to be able to exist, right? And like I still struggle with just fucking existing, right? Like, I have the same things. I have the disqualifiers. I have the disease of addiction constantly working against me. Like, it tells me things. You talked about the endless loop that leads to nowhere, except for, what does it say? Further destruction, despair, and decay. Like, and telling you that I'm coming from like the worst year. On June 8th, my dog died. He was my whole world. He saved me over and over and over and over again. And I knew he was sick, like he was having issues, and I kept going to the vet and paying $2,000 or $3,000 or doing whatever they told me to do, right? And I kept saying, it'll be okay, I'm doing everything they told me to do, like it's good. And 5 weeks later, he bled out on my living room floor in my arms, right? And it was traumatic. I had a sponsee on the phone who was praying. I was there. My, he's kind of my ex. Like, we haven't been together since 2017, but I don't know. He's still my husband. It's a very interesting situation. But it's a lot, but I'm actually about to move again, just because he followed me, whatever. He followed me or I brought him. Who really knows, right? But who the fuck knows? Like, on any given day, like, I can convince whatever that day is rolling with is what the fucking story is, And because I'm still trying to learn how to live. And I beat myself up. I spoke at this thing. You talked about beating yourself up, and like that, like literally, I will, sit here. So this is what I did while you were speaking. She said, I kayak with dogs too. Okay. And then I was like, and then she said she had 7 fucking kayaks, right? Or she had 6 and she's gonna buy one, so she'd have 7, right? I was like, I bet that bitch didn't get her kayak from fucking Walmart like you did, like. She's not running around with a 100-pound kayak, like, trying to get it off the car, right? Like you're not really a kayaker. Like, yes, I am. I'm a kayaker. Like what the fuck? And then I was like, that's all right. Like, I'm going to be friends with her. She can really show me how to kayak, whatever. I'll figure out what the right kayak is, one day. Like, it's coming. I can't wait to get your number. I'm going to leave a kayak at your sister's lake, too. But when he died in my arms, and I wasn't prepared for it. And when I was young, when I was little, my mother died, right? And I never dealt with it, and all I had in my life was loss and loss after loss after loss after loss after loss. And it was all, and I'm just learning how to live. Like, I went to prison for a long time. When I got out of prison, I had done 7 years. I went in when I was 25. I got out when I was 32. I dropped into the middle of fucking Narcotics Anonymous, And I'm here, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is this? This is never going to work for me. You talked about God, and like, as soon as I saw it, I immediately disqualified myself. I was proud to be an atheist. No, that was something I carried with pride. Like, it meant something to me, because I didn't want to be like everyone else ever in my life. And so I went in and I was like, this shit, if God is the answer, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now. Like, this is not gonna work, right? Like, but I kept coming and I kept coming, and then I used. And I was on parole, and I used, and it was like, for the first time, like, it was like something you had been saying, like, one is too many, 1,000 will never be enough. We release our addiction all over again, and I felt that shit release, and like, I made it back, with the help of the parole officer, brought me back again, and so when I got back, like, I just kind of sat there, and I really believe I was numb for the first 10 years of my recovery. Like, the first 10 years of my recovery, like, I learned how to, like, just come, like, just to exist. Just to exist. Like, so if you're just existing now, like, please just keep coming. Like, keep coming. Eventually, like, I woke up with 10 years clean. I had celebrated 10 years, and I was like, are you staying there? Like, is this something you're really gonna do? I mean, in the center of the program. In the center of the program, because I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop, because I couldn't trust myself. I had been ruled and driven by character defects my entire life. Whatever I felt, I had to change. And I couldn't do it through sitting through it. There was no way I could sit through a feeling. It was too much. It was too much. So he died, and in my arms, and his insides are poured out on the living room rug, and I'm sitting there holding him, and everything just started to come up, right? And I wasn't sure I wanted to live anymore. And I do what I always do, and I just call people, and I say, I don't really know if I want to fucking be here anymore. I don't know if I can live without him. And they would say things to me, and they would help me, and they would encourage me, and mostly they just did the shit like keeping me fucking buoyant, like the kayak does. Like I didn't have to sink all the way down, they held me up, and that's the love of the fellowship, right? And I thank God for the foundation that I laid when I got here, because that foundation is what still. So if you're here and you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, like, just keep laying those fucking bricks, man. It's okay that you're fucking clueless, right? And I know you're clueless, right? Like, it's okay. It's okay, you know what I mean? Just keep coming anyway. Just keep coming. Keep doing the things you're doing. Don't use no matter what. Get a sponsor and begin the journey. And I understand that the steps are ridiculous and you have no idea what they're talking about, right? I get it. Like, we were powerless. Our lives have become unmanageable. Like, who gives a fuck? Who's paying my rent? Like, who is going to pay my rent? Where am I getting a car from? Like, you know what I mean? Do I really need to have insurance? Like, just come. Just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. It will unfold for you as it's supposed to. And if you've been here for a long time and you still feel that way, fucking welcome, because so do I. So do I. I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. On any given day, I'm like, what in the hell? Like, what in the hell? Like, how's this even working? But what happens is did you read the Just for Today about intimacy? Like, that shit was so powerful today. When it talked about the, oh my God, I was like, I gotta read this. I read it like 5 times in the hope of getting it. It talked about how those are the intimacy is the vulnerability that you talked about, right? Like being vulnerable. I was in a meeting earlier today, and he said that the opposite of addiction is connectiveness, right? It's not recovery, it's connectiveness. It's the connectiveness, it's those tissues. We talk about the weavings, right? Like when you say God now, when you say God, as soon as you say God, the only thing I hear is good orderly direction. That's what I hear. As soon as you said the word God, I know it's good orderly direction. Next right thing, on any given day, I really, oh my God, I was in we were in a workshop first thing this morning, and what did the guy say? If you're living like you're still using, eventually you're going to have to use to justify your life. I was like, I wrote that shit down. Like I was like, I need to hear the little jewels that you continue to feed me, in order to stay here. The name of this thing is something about everything we know is subject to revision, but they crossed it out and they said change, and I don't know if we needed to cross that out or not, right? I don't know what is the process of that, but what they were thinking, but everything I know about the truth is subject to revision. Things that I believed my whole life have changed. You remember when I told you I had 10 years and I was like, dude, are you really going to do this? Like I'm still on the fence. I stay on the fence about it. Sometimes I don't even know how connected I am. I have to be around you to know that. It talked in the Just for Today about isolation. About isolation to be that is the opposite of connectedness, of intimacy, right? So I said with 10 years clean, I was like, what are you going to do? Like, I had a job, right? I got a job in a hospital. When I got to narcotics, I never had a job, right? And I had no education. I got my GED in prison. And I had to get a job. So I like to eat, right? I always like to eat. So I pretended like I could cook. I could freaking cook, right? So I said, well, I'm a cook, right? I decided I was a cook, right? And I made a resume up because when I got out of prison in '94, you have computers, right? There wasn't no computer. We didn't have to, you weren't really checking shit, like we didn't even have cell phones or anything, like you got a job from the newspaper, like little ads in the newspaper was how you got a job, right? So I made up a whole resume. Is this your water? I'm gonna drink some random person's water right now. Oh, that's crisp. Brooke said the water's crisp here. So I made up an entire resume, and I started my cooking career, right? And eventually I ended up in the hospital in charge of the dietary department. Don't I have no idea, right? I have 3 felonies, 22 misdemeanor convictions, right? Like it's wild. It's a wild story, right? And I had this guy cook for me, he's a little English dude, right? And he's a little British prick, right? And he still had the heavy accent and shit still. And I would go into the kitchen. I was the supervisor, and with 12 years clean, every time we walked by each other, we squared shoulders. Boom! Boom! Right? Like, I wanted to fight him with 12 years clean every day, right? Sponsees, H&I, like doing all of the things, right? Like, because I had this defect of pride that would wax my ass because I always had to be someone other than who I was, right? Because who I was so fucked up. And my pride was, I just felt like he was always challenging me, right? And I called my sponsor, and I said to my sponsor, I said, I just can't do this shit no more. Like, it hurts too much. The pain of remaining the same was just becoming fucking overwhelming, And so we revised a plan, just like that same plan we devised when I needed to stop stealing in the CVS, right? Like, I couldn't stop stealing in early recovery, and it's good water. And so my sponsor said, well, when you come out the house, don't go left, because if you go left, you're going to go by the CVS, and if you go straight, and then you go all the way out to Main Street, and then you go left, then you'll be you won't pass the CVS. You don't go in the CVS. You won't have to steal in the CVS. And I was like, all right, and I did it, and it fucking worked, right? You don't go to the CVS, you don't steal in CVS, right? Like, it's magic, right? You don't go to the fucking cop house, you know, you might not use, like, and so she said, is there any other way that you can go into the kitchen besides not having to walk by him? And I said, well, I guess I could go on the loading dock. If I go on the loading dock and come through, I'll go into the front part and I won't see him till after lunch. And she said, well, do it. She said, try it. So I did it a couple days. I wouldn't see him till lunchtime. By lunchtime, everything's a little bit settled down. It's almost time for him to go home. And we stopped squaring shoulders in the kitchen. And after a while, I just started waving to him from across the room, right, when I would come in. How's it going, Stefan? And he was like, what the fuck, right? Because he still wanted to square shoulders, because he wasn't working a program. He wasn't calling his sponsor. He wasn't doing the things I was doing, right? And all of a sudden, like, I started to get a little bit of freedom. And when I started to get that little bit of freedom, I thought, maybe I can change. Like, maybe I could really change. Like, maybe I could really change up in here. And I didn't believe that till I had, like, 12 years clean. And some days I believe that I can still change. Some days I have no idea what's going on anymore, right? Like, I'm like, I will write a whole new scenario for my life 50 times in the course of a day, right? Like this is too much, man. Like I'll be, I'm 61 years old now. I just celebrated 29 years clean, and thank you. And some days I'm like, well, maybe you should go. I was like, maybe you should be a veterinarian. Like, I'm like, dude, like, that's a lot. Like, please don't think that. Like, let's not do that. Like, come on now. Like, we won't even. I'll fill out the application for college. I'll never look at this shit again. Like, you know what I mean? Like. And then I'm like, well, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or maybe, but ultimately I'm just going to follow my path, man, like one foot in front of the other, wherever it leads me. It has not let me down so far. Good early direction still works. Do the next right thing for the next right reason. Get the fuck out of your own way and help somebody else. Get out of my own way. My friend Todd told me that in early recovery. He just kept telling me it over and over again because I never knew what to do. And he would say, just don't worry about you. Get out, help somebody else. And every time I help somebody else, like it gives me more and more freedom. I had so I do dog rescue, right? If you're my friend on Facebook, you might already know that. But I got puppies. I do puppies a lot. And in May, I got from the homeless encampment, I got a phone call, and there was a dog at the homeless encampment. And she was staked to the ground, and she had 2 puppies, and she couldn't reach the puppies. She had been, she was wrapped around a thing, and they said, we want to take them. They need somewhere to go. We can't take them to the shelter. And I said, fine. Yeah, I got you. And we got them, and we brought them home, Diamond and Butch and Sundance. And Butchie and Sundance were 5 days old when they came to the house. And Diamond was severely malnutritioned and in bad shape. And she was 10 years old. And she had just had a litter. And they said she had had at least 10 litters. And she came to the house, and Butchie and Sundance, Butchie went to a friend in Pennsylvania, and Sundance went to my sponsee Kristen's son, and Diamond stayed at the house. And then I got a call. There was a litter of puppies. And I went and got the litter of puppies, and Diamond became the mother to the litter of puppies. And now here we are in November. And Diamond is on another litter of puppies right now. And she's done 5 litters of puppies since she came to my house in 5. She went from fucking nothing, being staked to the ground, couldn't reach her children, couldn't do anything, to a life of service. for lifer service, right? Serves every day in and day out. And a couple of weeks ago, I got a call, and there was puppies at the shelter. There was a box of them, and a rescue had come. In rescue, there's rules, right? And one of the unspoken rules is nobody left behind, right? You take the babies, you take the mama, you take everybody goes, right? It's an unspoken rule. And a rescue went, and they took the 3 male puppies, and they left the 2 female puppies, and they were 2 days old, and there was no mother to be found. So I was like, yeah. So I went. I never fucking bottle fed ever, right? Diamond don't have nothing. I mean, she's done, right? She was done with Butch and Sundance. She's not feeding. She'll clean them. She'll do the whole 9, but she's not feeding anyone. And is my time up? Everyone's leaving. Is it over, the meeting? I'm just checking. Okay. Sorry. I got stories. And they said, so we took them home. I started Googling. I'm asking my rescue, like, what do we do? Get the stuff. I get them home, and these little 2 tiny little things, and we got to feed every 2 hours, and you're lucky to get just a little syringe down their throats, and it's touch and go, and one of them starts really thriving. The other one is not doing so hot, and I'm watching her, and she's struggling. She can't breathe. She's lifting her head up. She sounds raspy all the time. And I say, "What do you do? What do you do? Is this natural selection? Do I take her to the vet? Do I not take her to the vet? Like, what do I do? What do I do?" And I laid with her in my hand all night, and she kept opening her fucking eyes and looking at me, right? So we went to the vet, of course, right? And because if you have a will to live, I will help you. If you want any of it, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. She had a will to live, so we went to the vet, and the vet gave us antibiotics, and antibiotics will make you think you're getting better. It can touch the top of something, but the inside is no good, right? And she had 5 really good days, and then she fucking died, right? I sat with her all night on my chest, skin to skin, right? And I was like, you better live, because I need a win in 2024. I need a win. And I said in the morning she was still alive, and I said, we're going back to the vet, man. And we went to the vet, and the vet said, I'm sorry, but she's in congestive heart failure. The only kind thing to do is put her down, And so I did, and I was thinking about the level. It said, people always say shit to you, you know what I mean? Like, people sent me shit when my dog died. I got plaques, cards, flowers. Shit came in the mail every day. People sending me, people I don't even know. I've never met a day in my life, because of the life I live and the connectiveness that I have created, through this world. People were sending me stuff every day, and one of the things they said was that if love could have saved you, you would have lived forever, And I told Wyndham, I said, if money could have saved you, you would have lived forever too, because I'd have put every fucking thing in you, I'd have given it all to you, because it really don't mean much to me anymore. Like, what means like being able to breathe, like being able to just be. Just fucking be, man. So we all have a path here. We have a niche, and we all have different things that we do. But every one of us, I started to work in this halfway house at some point, and I adopted a child here. Funny too, but I adopted a kid in this process, and I never had any children of my own, and she had to go to college, and I need to figure out how to pay for it. So I got a job at night at this halfway house. And when you walked in, there was a sign that hung on the wall, and it said, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called, right? And every time I feel like I don't have what it takes, which is almost every fucking time, like I remember that. Like if I just suit up and show up, I've always been given everything I need, you know. I'm an addict. My name is Chris. Thanks for letting me share. Was that your water?